Hello, New Orleans. You're listening to the Sports Coma, your new #1 podcast on everything Saints, Pelicans, and a lot more. And now, here's your host, Big Q and the guys.
What's up, sports fans? You're rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. Intense and entertaining sports talk on the Saints, the Bells, and a hell of a lot more. And tonight, man, I feel like an old newscaster tonight for whatever reason, man, because I got some bad news for you. And that's, of course, the Saints. They turn up. They couldn't get it done tonight. They lose 16-9 to the Houston Texans. And, I mean, damn. There's only one word I can describe this.
I know a lot of words.
Yeah, but for the interest, yeah, this was a debacle here, and
yeah, that's one of my favorites.
we got DC and Blaxuede on the line. They pretty to give their spirited takes on tonight's atrocity.
I like that one too.
Before we jump off into this obituary, we're gonna look at our sponsor, shop theposhlifestyle.com. Water filters. I feel like I need a lot of them after watching this one. Water filters, healing magnetics, healing crystals and jewelry, clothing, books, DVDs, organic supplements, and I feel like I need a 7-day cleanse after watching this. So I'm damn sure gonna visit theposhlifestyle.com. I'm definitely gonna go there tonight and all of that from all the crap that I seen today. But back to them. They offer you $100 free shipping on purchases over $100 on most of the items. So go there, show your support, and buy something or make a donation at Shop the Posh Lifestyle. That's life with a LYFE. Shop the poshlifestyle.com. Also, if you like our podcast and we getting a lot of views, and we appreciate all those that's checking us out, please feel free to keep on supporting us, checking us out, spreading the word, posting our video links to reply boxes and some of your favorite sports columns that you might frequent. Tell some of your friends about the show. Whatever you got to do to help us out. Also, you can help us out via donation by going to shoptheposhlifestyle.com and looking for the donation area where you can donate to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. Give $1, give $2, whatever. Give from your heart. We're big believers and allies of the law of attraction. So please feel free to support us and donate to our cause as we continue to build our platform. Like I said, you can go to the Posh Lifestyle, shop theposhlifestyle.com, and donate to the Sports Coma. Thank you for that. Now, getting off back into our program, and this game, man, I gotta say, man, it's just, I don't know. Looking at the Drew Brees was able to play some time. Looked like he kept his helmet on for the rest of the game. It looked like he wanted to jump in there and make it right, but he didn't look too good in the first quarter. He went 5 for 8 for 29 yards, no touchdowns, and 1 interception, which I don't know if I can fault Drew for that, because the defender did grab Michael Thomas when he was when he was in the middle of his route and literally bear hugged him from completing his route. The referee missed the call, and that's how the pick was made. So I don't know if I can, statistically they say it's a pick. I don't think it should be a pick because the ref missed the call. But the real storyline is the offensive line, which is not a line, which I don't know what it is, but it damn sure ain't a line. But we gonna get the takes of some of these guys, and we gonna talk about a lot of people. I'm gonna get on Zach Streif. I'm gonna talk about Mr. Skates. I just think it's horrible, man. Drew Brees was under pressure when he was in the pocket. They could not run the ball with Mark Ingram. Certain packages they put the fullback in, couldn't get the ball, couldn't move anybody. And that was a Houston Texans team that didn't even have J.J. Watt available. So imagine the hell that he would have gave them if he was available. And Jadeveon Clowney, nowhere near J.J. Watt. He's damn good, though. And he put a bull rush move on the vending machine. I mean, the Godfather, Zach Strief, and literally threw him to the ground. And it's just amazing to me, not saying that the guy is stronger than the Strief, but it just goes to show you that the kind of hailstorm you're going to have this year, Strief, when you deal with people that actually pass rushes with some strength, and he struggles mightily with that. Now, the guy, one thing you can say Zach Strief is he's strong at the point of attack, that the guy will have an advantage if he can run around him because he's not fast. But when they coming at you and they just throwing you to the ground like that, then what else can I say to you? I'm the same man that says Zach Strief should not be starting for any team in the NFL unless they hurt, unless whoever they had starting is injured. I don't think he can go anywhere in the NFL and start for any other team. But before I go into different topics, I'm going to let the guys comment and kind of vent their disgust for this ugly, muddy, trifling game that the Saints gave to us. In particular, that crappy offensive line. Guys, chime in and tell me your opinions. We're going to start with you, DC. What's your take on the despicable, ridiculous, hideous, funky, trifling display of football on the offensive line that we witnessed tonight?
I would say that outside of being disheartened from watching the debacle or atrocity,
Thank you,
as we opened up saying, I would say I'm relieved that it's only a preseason game. Because if this was a regular season game, man, when I walk the streets tomorrow, the city of New Orleans would be so depressed. Everybody would be down. I think just thinking about the game, it might make it start raining or something. It would just be a horrible feeling, man. You have a bunch of drunk people around, but they don't want to remember it. It was that bad. Sean Payton came out and said, "This is the worst we have looked in a while." Direct quote. And he also said, "We had problems on special teams with the returner holding on to the ball. Don't worry about it. We'll replace it." That's what Sean Payton said. So for him to come out and say that, man, I don't think I ever heard him say stuff like that. This is probably one of the worst offensive games of the Sean Payton era, period. We have been known for lighting it up in the preseason with our offense at times when we had Chase Daniels back in the past, hanging 34 points up, 42 points and all that. We ain't even scored a touchdown tonight. That is, yeah, you see, I made a point.
You know what I'm saying? Big time.
Yeah. It's like, where do you go from here? That's what I'm looking at. This is like one of those games where you just take the cake and you just ball it up and throw it away.
Well,
I'm going to talk about, I just wanted to make one more point. I did like what I saw from the defense. Our first unit played real well, and we had a lot of our young players, man, really getting out there and getting after it. Von Bell really impressed me tonight. And P.J. Williams, 50-50. He gave up a touchdown. He got an interception, so kind of made it right.
Well, I mean, it was so horrible that it just shut my computer down. But Von Bell, I mean, he was a real solid contributor tonight. He had 8 tackles, and every last one of them was solo. He wasn't an assisted tackle. He had 8 tackles, and every last one of them was solo. So Von Bell, plus he had a sack in the game too. He was able to get a sack in the game too. So 8 tackles in a sack, one of them for loss. So I got to give Von Bell his credit. He played well. Swade, what's your take on what happened tonight? Speak your mind.
With that offensive line, man, it was totally ridiculous. They can't, they like I told you, they couldn't block nobody on Facebook. If you look at it, I looked at the game last week against the Patriots. These guys, our offense ran 2.6 yards per carry. This week, guess how many yards per carry we had? 2.6. You know what I'm saying? With like a 1.9.
I think it was 1.5, bro. I think we actually dropped.
No, it averaged 1 point. It averaged 1.9 in the first half. It was totally ridiculous, man. I don't know what's the boy skating those doors. It's like these guys on this line are equivalent to like a singing group led by J.J. Icefish. I would rather see the defensive line than block for Dupree. He couldn't stay in the pocket. He couldn't get comfortable. Luke McCown, same way. Grayson, the same way. You know, Grayson kind of disappointed, but still, I don't put that totally on him because the offensive line was just that horrible. As far as that defense, I want to give a special shout out and salute to Nick Farley. Nick Farley came out. He wanted to play for this team, and he showed me he can hold that position down. So he showed me something, you know. And with felt kind of bad with Rankins going out, but with Nick Farley just taking more snaps than he's used to, I feel like they can come through on this defensive line. They might need to block too.
Well, Nick Fairley, you're right, Swade. Nick Fairley was able to get going. He had 4 tackles, 2 of them solo, and he even got a sack today. But more than just the numbers, outside the numbers, he was disruptive in the middle. Tyler Davison and Nick Fairley were really disruptive. And another guy who didn't show up on the stat chart was David Onyemata, who was real disruptive too. Now, Tyler Davison has gotten a distinction as being one of the strongest guys, not the strongest guy on this team. But Onyemata is pretty freaking strong too. You know, and them guys probably have an arm wrestling contest sometime. But I'm gonna be honest with you, they played. Though Onyemata didn't show up in the statistical category, but I was watching him, and he really was a guy that was very disruptive in the interior. So I like what they're trying to do, give him the reps, to get him to ready, mixing him up with Fairley, mixing him up with Tyler Davison, and. Like I said, I think I got to give credit to the defense. I don't have any really knocks on that defense. They didn't get the pressure that I thought they should have got with the first unit, but they did contain Brock Osweiler and the Houston Texans a little bit there. But I have to go back to that offensive line. I'm sorry. I mean,
that's what it starts at, man. It starts in the trenches.
Right,
you know?
And that's the stink of it all, is the fact that we've been microanalyzing this team, and we had this team, especially the offensive line, under the microscope. And we talk about that. We had you mentioned it, that you're not comfortable with the offensive line, Swade, and I concur. And I think that you're absolutely right. It's ridiculous. It's repugnant that I'm looking at this offensive line. Now, this is the thing that's really confusing to me. Andrews Pete started this game at right guard. The starting offensive line, just the linemen, were left tackle Armstead, left guard was Tim Lolito, center was Max Unger, right guard was Andrews Pete, right tackle was the Godfather Zach Strief. Now this is the thing that happened. Armstead, somewhere in between the end of the first and start of the second quarter, got his reps, and they decided to pull Armstead out actually after he got enough reps. Then they moved Andrews Pete into Armstead's position at left tackle. This is confusing to me. Why are you doing this to Andrews Pete? Why the hell is Andrews Pete starting the game at right guard? What you said, if the season was started, you play right guard. As soon as Armstead leaves, because he got his reps, you move him to left tackle. What the hell are you doing is what I'm saying. That makes absolutely no sense. If he's a right guard, you should remain a right guard whether Armstead is in the damn game or not. So that to me is absolutely confusing. It's ridiculous. It's stupid, and it don't surprise me why this team is fumbling all over the place. It can't do a damn thing. Can't block anybody. But I'm gonna let y'all guys give y'all take on that question. We're gonna go to break, but we'll be back. Stay with us. with Sports Coma, Big Q and the guys.
Winter is gone, so spring on over to We've Got It, your low-price, high-class leader. That's right, come in now and take advantage of our everyday bundle deals on any 3 bundles. 12 to 16 inches, $130. 18 to 22 inches, $155. And 24 to 30 inches, $185. We've Got It. 495 Voters Road in Slidell. 985-445-1400. That's 985-445-1400.
I'm the flyest in the world. I'm the flyest in the world. I'm the flyest in the world. Who you know that's better than me? Nobody.
Be the playmaker. Madden NFL 16. Game not yet rated.
Hey, I'm Paul, and I used to ask if you could hear me now with Verizon. Not anymore. I'm with Sprint now, because guess what? It's 2016 and every network is great. In fact, Sprint's reliability is now within 1% of Verizon. And Sprint saves you 50% on most Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile rates. So I switched to Sprint, and millions more have too. Can you hear that?
Don't let a 1% difference cost you twice as much. Switch to Sprint today.
What up, America? This Big Q from the Sports Coma, letting you know that you can follow us and the guys on Facebook, All Saints and Pelican fans, also on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, the Sports Coma. You can also download our podcast at podbean.com. So check us out for all the intense and entertainment talk on the Saints, the Pels, and a hell of a lot more. Only at the Sports Coma, you heard me?
Get ready, New Orleans. It's time for the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, telling you everything you need to know about the Saints, Pelicans, and a whole lot more.
I ain't gonna say it no more.
Welcome back to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. Going into our second segment, covering the horrendous loss of the Saints in the preseason to the Houston Texans. They fall to a ridiculous 0-2 in the schedule in the preseason rankings behind everybody else. Well, we don't particularly hold a lot of this in high regard in terms of preseason. But like a lot of people say, preseason don't count. It really don't matter. That's not really true. A lot of things you can develop momentum going into the regular season. When how you use preseason. Me personally, I think that preseason should be probably cut in half. I wouldn't be offended to them eliminating preseason and doing like a lot of the college guys do. They just create their own scrimmages and do it, and then when the season come, hell, we ready to roll. Maybe you can up the roster some, but I think a lot of what they're doing is kind of antiquated and needs to be replaced anyway. But that's a subject for another day. Talking to DC and Blaxuede today, covering this ridiculousness. Let's get their take on the last question I left about Andrews Pete being moved around, right guard, left tackle, and maybe now they'll let him play a little center too. What's your take on that, Suede? Give me your take on that. What you think? Have you ever seen something as ridiculous as starting this player at right guard, then the same quarter you're moving the left tackle when the other guy comes out? And then they wondering why he getting beat all over the place and looking bad, and then he sit up there with his mouth tucked out. I mean, this is just stupid, man. But what's your take on that? Make sense of it.
I have seen this before, and we have an ugly track record with doing this, man. For some reason, the Saints decide to get players, and we get them to play a certain position, and then we decide we need you at this position. Yeah, you're better over here. But we're going to put you here to just go where we need you at. It made no sense. They did this with Malcolm Jenkins. He played cornerback, but he was a player that kind of versatile, that could go both ways, but he was clearly a better safety. I don't know why we had him at cornerback. he probably would have been on the field if we would have just played him at safety. And we needed a safety. Then they also did the same thing last year with our rookie, Stephen Anthony. They drafted this guy. He was an outside linebacker. And they drafted him. He played outside linebacker in college. And they tell him he's going to play middle linebacker. Why? It just doesn't make sense. And you're going to put all this pressure on the rookie. And then the next year you turn around, you're like, you know what? It's not panning out. He did okay. We're going to get Laurinaitis and put him at middle linebacker. Now you can play outside linebacker. So I don't know. Maybe they got this going on with Andrew Pete. When we get rid of the Godfather on the edge, because his position is clearly untouchable. Nobody can take anything away from Zach Street. He doesn't need to be improved upon. So let's count everybody else around on the line and leave him right there. So maybe once Zach Street decides he's going to retire, they might say Andrew Pete at the right position.
Sway, what's your take?
Oh man, it's no, without a doubt, man. It's no secret that it was since 2009, man. This defense, this offensive line has been falling apart bit by bit, and now it looks like they're just patching it up, man. It's just like a bunch of patches on the field, man. And the patches are falling off, and it's still the tire is still leaking, and they somebody go ahead on, and they put a piece of cotton in it, and the cotton come out. Man, it's just fabricated foolishness on this field, man. Let's be honest. I have never seen nothing this ridiculous since Theo on the Cosby Show won one earring. I have never seen it. This is totally out the box. So what I want to do is I want to sit here and I'm just going to be quiet while y'all talk about the offensive line because I love to say so much and I just might say something that I might regret.
Well, I just like I said before, man. I just think that it's just ridiculous. A lot of stuff that I'm watching and dealing with the offensive line. I think they could be a lot better if they provide a little bit of opportunity. But let's get a little audio from Sean Payton after the post game ridiculous game that we watched. See what he got to say. So let's hear a little Sean Payton.
I thought it was as bad as we've been in a while. Defensively, I thought there were some things that were encouraging. We talked about the turnovers, and we get a 3-and-out to start the game, and the first punt's on the ground. That's it just can't happen. We'll find another returner, but that's one of the balancing acts of the preseason when you have 90 players. There's a part of you as a coach that saw some things that you're encouraged about, but I'm telling you what, offensively, and it's across the board. We'll put that tape on tomorrow. There weren't a lot of good things, so I'll take questions. I thought we had some pressure. It would be hard for me to comment until I put the tape on, but we had a good rotation going. Hopefully, it was more good than negative. So I thought, like I said, I was encouraged by the play. We gave up a 2-minute drive, field goal. But overall, there were some good things we did defensively, and that is a positive.
Well, that's Sean Payton talking about a few things dealing with the defense. We can let him prattle on all he wants, but like he said, once he gets a chance to be fair, let him analyze his tape, which he'll probably do between tonight and going into tomorrow, and by tomorrow night he'll have a more specific take on what's going on, and then we can go over that. But y'all comments on what Sean Payton just said, starting with you, DC.
Well, that's exactly the same quote I heard, and I second his sentiments with Parma Turner. I do like Murphy, man, but if you pay attention and you watch the fumbles, and it just sets the turnover. It sets the tone with that turnover, man. Once he did that, it's almost like it becomes contagious. Then we had another turnover, like not long after that, and everybody's fumbling the ball. I thought maybe, Houston was fumbling the ball, so I was wondering if they gave us a different football or something. I don't, it's crazy. But I don't know who he's going to put as returner. Maybe Tommy Lee Lewis, I was thinking he got a few options out there. And shout out to that guy. He did make a few plays. He only made 2 plays today, but they were both on third down, and he converted them.
Right.
So he may be getting some more opportunities in the return game, and I think Sean Payton is right to do so, man. Maybe this will wake Murphy up. Maybe he'll get another shot. I don't think he should be on the bubble. It's a guy we should get rid of, but he can't keep fumbling the ball, man. It's killing us.
Yeah, Tommy Lee did pretty. He was okay. He caught 2 passes for 25 yards, 12.5 average, and he had that catch where he was able to elude the defender and get the first down on one of the earlier drives. So, yeah, but he is a spark plug. I got to give him that. Suede, comment on protect and defend your Marcus Murphy character, bro.
Well, Marcus Murphy, man, with this being his second year, second year, you rarely catch Marcus Murphy making big mistakes. And yeah, he made a fumble that pretty much possibly set the tone for the rest of the team. But let's give him benefit of the doubt that you are allowed to make a mistake now and then. Okay, so he fumbled the ball. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Learn to hold on to it and you move on. All right, let's not discredit the fact that we also have bumbling idiots on the field like Brandon Coleman. We also have people on the offensive line that can't do what they're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? Let's not point to my man,
bumbling idiots.
Mr. Murphy over there.
Bumbling idiots.
I'm going to put number 23 jersey, my man.
It's wait. You said bumbling idiots. Okay, so but we have bumbling idiots on the team. So that's plural. Who else can you say? Who could we put in that funny bumbling idiots group that you like to meet besides Brandon Coleman, who had 6 catches today for 47 yards.
I mean, dude, hold on.
Give me a few more names on that.
He had 6. I mean, he gonna catch 6 balls if they throw like 40 of them to you. At least catch 6. I mean, what else you gonna do?
What are the few other names? What other players fit under the bumbling idiots category today that earned that title today, that dunce cap?
Well, when we look at X3, he's a bumbling boo. He also gives one the bumbling idiot of the day. We can also look at, well, you know what? I'm going to lay it easy on Travaris Cadet because he did the best thing he could ever do today, and that was not even getting the game. You know what? I'm lying. He did get 1 catch.
He did get in the game. He had 1 catch for 9 yards now.
Even the broke clock is right 2 times a day. All right. So, I mean,
what about the tight end Allen? Can we give him a bumbling?
Oh, hold on, man. No, he's like bumbling. He's a bumbling boo-boo. This dude here, eye open in the end zone. This is your time to shine, brother. You get the ball, bumble it. He actually fumbling. Oops. Go sit on the sideline and look at the big screen like it's the game.
Rashawn Allen, man. Wow. I mean, this is your time. It comes a time when you have an opportunity to make this team and you're wide open in the corner of the end zone. Only thing you have to do is hold the ball, and even if you catch the ball and tumble forward, you win. You basically you win the game if they convert that play. And wow, he a hometown guy though. He's from Southern.
Oh man!
He went to Southern.
Why you had to say that, bro?
Well, I mean, actually, he was born. He's from Cleveland, Ohio. Born in Cleveland, Ohio, but he went to school down here at Southern. And he was a guy. He was a guy that actually was. People thought that he can actually come and contribute because he was having a kind of a basketball background to him, similar to the Jimmy Grahams and Antonio, or like my friend Ray says, Arsenio Gates of the world. But I want to
also give a shout out to my kickers who I've been bashing for the past 4 weeks. They were actually known today. Salute, good job, guys.
Yes, the kickers did do well. The punters did well today. Thomas Morstead, man, he was lights out punting the ball. The only thing I really had a problem with was the fumble and some of the poor coverage by the special teams. But we'll get into it. We'll talk some more offense. We'll talk some more defense. We'll talk about Sean Payton's play calling. We'll cover that as well. And we'll just get into it on the other side of the break. You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. We'll be back.
I'm not retiring.
I'll still break that old man's ankles.
I'm still gonna knock down turnaround jumpers all day.
That ain't changing.
Man, I drop threes on them all night long.
All night.
All night.
I'll drain threes on you all night.
Man, I dropped 82 on you.
I've been Kobe for like 14 years.
I've been him for 16 years.
I won like 15 championships.
I've been Kobe for as long as I can remember.
Dude, you're 8. Nah, man, I'm not retiring.
I hate Kobe Bryant.
I love that Mamba face.
I hate that Mamba face.
I'll dunk on fools.
I'll still hate Kobe Bryant.
I'm still gonna hate him.
He's not done.
This doesn't change a thing.
I am Kobe.
I am Kobe.
I am Kobe Bryant.
I'll still be Kobe Bryant.
Product not yet rated.
The 6, Raptors, Diamond, Key, New Ride, Old Ride, Bad Times, Good Times, Young Money, New Money, OVO, 29, 29, 29, Best I Ever Had, Worst Behavior, Old Crib, New Crib, October, Sound, Festival, Album Time Again or Acting Time Again, My Friend, My Friends, Younger Me, Older Me, Me as Manny, Me as Jimmy, Me as Drake.
What up, America? This Big Q from the Sports Coma, letting you know that you can follow us and the guys on Facebook, All Saints and Pelican fans, also on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, the Sports Coma. You can also download our podcast at podbean.com. So check us out for all the intense and entertainment talk on the Saints, the Pels, and a hell of a lot more. Only at the Sports Coma, you heard me?
It'd be hard for me to comment until I put the tape on, but we had a good rotation going. Hopefully it was more good than negative. So I thought, like I said, I was encouraged by the play. We gave up a 2-minute drive, field goal, but overall there were some good things we did defensively, and that is a positive. I thought it was just okay, and honestly, it's been kind of pedestrian from him throughout the camp. But there's certain things you see, and you see, and you see, and you see, and then all of a sudden they reveal themselves. They reveal themselves in a game, and you know what? Not surprised. And I think he can be better, and I know I've seen better. So he's going to have to, pick it up. I think he will. I think he'll compete, but I don't like how he's catching the ball on the first play that comes out of his hands. Too many times the ball's separating from him. I don't like where the ball's at when he's running on the naked boot. So that's that with him. Well, look, I thought we had some good breaks. We got our hands on one. We're still not catching it properly. It goes through our pinkies instead of our thumbs. But I thought Swan was a little tentative. Gave up some completions. But again, it'd be hard for me to comment on all of them. I'm just going kind of by the game, watching it from the sideline. But I thought we contested some throws, and that was encouraging. Yeah, I was encouraged with that. It was a big red zone stop. I mean, that's a point saver. Part of the problem. But look, there's going to be a lot of dirty hands when we watch that tape. All right, starters, frontline guys, a lot of dirty hands.
Damn right. You're back with Big Q and you're back with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. We had Coach Sean Payton, head coach of New Orleans Saints, to bring us in off break. Talking about special teams play, Marcus Murphy, among other people.
Dirty hands.
Dirty hands, and he seems quite adamant about getting to a lot of those guys, especially in the trenches, where his appalling offensive line just seems to be leading the charge in mediocrity. Fellas, coming back off the break, going into it, tell me what's your take on looking at the situation we're dealing with the offensive line. I mean, I can't do nothing but just can't wrap my mind around what's really going on with this whole situation dealing with this offensive line. I'm just totally dumbfounded by it. We can't run. We couldn't protect Drew Brees. They got a lot of pressure on him around the edges, up the center. And the appealing part is if they can't pass the ball, at least let's run the ball. Couldn't run the ball. And what really looked bad was Max Unger, who's probably the top 5 or 6 centers in the league. He looked at pretty awful too today. Not as bad as Mr. Skates, Tim Lolito, or the vending machine, Zach Streif, a.k.a. the Godfather. But, most of the guys, they look pretty bad. Landon Turner, in limited duty, he looked awful. He had a couple of penalties. He looks lost out there as well. Jack Allen, the All-American center out of Michigan State, he's a stud, but at times he looked pretty thrown off too today. Now, could we just chalk it up to a bad day for the offensive line and just and not to a lack of talent or a lack of focus or a lack of talent? I mean,
usually,
go ahead, Suede.
Can't do that. Usually, you can chalk it up as a bad day because any given Sunday in the NFL, and you're liable to have a bad game. But this is the second one in a row. People talking about preseason doesn't matter. Well, guess what, people? Same people that sucked on the field today, the same people be sucking on the field for the regular season. So, it might well get it together now before it's too late.
Go ahead, DC.
Well, me myself, I'm one of the people. I wouldn't say preseason doesn't matter, but I look at it as not unimportant. But you don't have to have a perfect preseason. I feel like preseason is the platform for you to make mistakes and correct them. So you can have a team that has 2 losses in the preseason, and then they have the other 2 games, and they get some of these things corrected and start to build that momentum going in. Because we know the last 2 games of preseason is when your offense and defensive starters play a little extended time, and you start to get a little glimpse at what you really got out there. So I think we can look forward to that because our first team defense plays pretty good. If our offense could just stay on the field so they don't get winded, maybe the Texans wouldn't have even scored that touchdown. Who knows? If we don't turn the ball over and give them outstanding field position, we don't know what we would be looking at. So we just got to clean things up and stop making stupid, silly mistakes, man. I don't know if it's mental fatigue. I don't know if it's maybe a little upsetness because, you got to understand Sheldon Rankins did get hurt. They just released Keenan Lewis. I would imagine a lot of players on the team were looking forward to the breakout season of Sheldon Rankins and probably really like Keenan Lewis. So maybe this could have something to do with what's going on, too. We have some of the veterans. They see they cut another veteran guy. They're, what about me? And this maybe somebody's playing with a little fear, man. People thinking about getting cut, and they go out there, and their worst fear becomes a reality on the field. So, that's kind of how I'm looking at it. But I think we can move forward from this and start to build something positive based on the play of our defense. Our offense is normally number 1, number 2, so we know they're going to get it together. They're going to do some patchwork, like you said, my brother, with that line. We need some better patches. Maybe we can buy some tires. We got $5 million extra dollars. Like to go buy some tires. And we got to look at the next preseason game.
Instead of cutting what's our defensive coordinator last year was? Rob Ryan. Instead of cutting him, should have put his big fat ass on the line. But check this out. I totally agree with you, DC. I totally agree with you, man. And I'm not one to bash our defense right now at all because we're all going through a kind of transition right now, losing 2 big players. So they're expected to be the highlights of their defense. So I can understand that. And they showed up today, pretty much having the same stats, or giving the offense the same stats as our pitiful offense stats today. My whole power is just to show out this offensive line, like you said, and the offense is not clicking. I'm used to this offense. I'm spoiled now. I'm used to this offense clicking. I'm used to, since 2006 or 2007, I'm used to this offense getting it together. You know what I'm saying? And making it happen. And right now, they're looking awful. And I'm tired of making excuses for them Maybe next game, then, when they get more starters in and then fourth, I need to see it. I need to see it now. I need to see it now because, like y'all told me before, we haven't won a preseason game since 2014. I need to have it now.
Well, I mean, I agree.
Start on the second.
I agree with you, Suede. I think a lot of the stuff that's going on with the could be disjointed, a little dysfunction amongst the fans. I mean, in the ranks of the team. Keenan Lewis, man, wasn't just anybody. I mean, I don't know if he had the captain rank, but he was damn near close to it. He was a guy that was well respected. He talked the talk and walked the walk, and he had a lot of friends in that team. But to lose him it leaves a sour taste in everybody's mouth in the organization, and could cause rifts. Players that's like a Keenan Lewis, a guy that was a beloved member of the community, a beloved member of the Saints because he was a local kid. He came here, he just living his dream, and what he gave to the city, playing hard when he was injured and all that. Then you have an argument or you don't like the player because of some crap like that. That seems a little childish to me because as adults and professionals, more importantly, professionals, the only interest we have is not we put winning above egos. And the only thing that would cause me to separate a player from my team at this juncture of time that's a key cog to the whole machine is if he's doing something off field that will require us to remove him legally or get the police to get him out of there or something similar to that. But if it ain't nothing like that, and it's the fact that it was a disagreement between him and Dennis Allen, that's showing me a lot about Dennis Allen's character to be pretty damn immature. If you didn't like what he told you, but he proved your ass wrong when he told you that you told him that he wasn't gonna make it in the league, and the man made it in the league. When he showed you up, you should have said, you know what, I was wrong. I was wrong to tell you that, and you know what, let's win together. I'm the defensive coordinator. I want you to help me to spread my system to these young guys, and together we can bring another Super Bowl and uplift this secondary that's been talked about for many years. So I'm hoping that they're not as childish as that childish or immature to get rid of a player of that caliber off of some bull crap like that. I mean, come on, seriously. But give me your take on that, on what I just said. Go ahead, DC.
They have $5 million they freed up in cap room. So maybe they're looking at adding another Band-Aid to this offensive line as well. So it could be a little bit of an emotional decision mixed in with the business decision too, where it's economically feasible to let him go at this time. And he's also saying he doesn't want to come to practice and play. He's challenging management. I'm not trying to get on the side of the team because I agree with Keenan Lewis, but just looking at it from a different perspective. That's kind of how I guess the locker room can get divided if one player can do something and the others can't. You have favoritism, and it starts this organization. As we all know, we had stories of our locker room being like this before. So it could be a situation where maybe you stomp your toe and then you're trying to go punch a hole in the wall. It's just an overreaction to trying to correct the problem for something you don't want to fester down the line. And also looking at it like you can fix another problem that you have. But only time will tell. True story will definitely come out. But if it's true that Dennis Allen was the main catalyst to get rid of Keenan Lewis over not saying he's going to make it 7 years ago, that does show you how immature your defensive coordinator is, man. I don't know. I hope that guy grows up real quick.
Well, I concur, man, because this is not about egos, it's about winning. And if you can't get everybody on the same page and make them understand that we assembled y'all players here because we believe that y'all will give this team in this room at this time give us the best opportunity of winning the Super Bowl today and now, then you need to get your ass out of here. And that's just my take on how I look at it. And that's the kind of perspective that you got to have as a winner. But we'll cover that. We'll let Suede comment on that. We'll cover the special teams. We'll give our big ups to the defense, among other people, when we come back. This is the Sports Coma, Big Q and the guys. We'll come back in a minute.
Hey, this Suede. I'm about to tune you in. I'll cue you into your one-stop online shop for all your health essentials. Your vitamins, your water filters, healing magnetics, hygiene products, healing crystals, and jewelry. For all this and more, just log into theposhlifestyle.com. Once again, that is theposhlifestyle.com.
There's no one road out there. No one surface. No one speed. No one way of driving on each and every road. But there is one car that can conquer them all. The Mercedes-Benz C-Class. 5 driving modes let you customize the steering, shift points, and suspension to fit the mood you're in and the road you're on. The 2016 C-Class, starting at $38,950.
Is it true Ciroc vodka makes the best flavors in the world? Take one sip of the lush wildness of Ciroc Red Berry. One taste of the intense ripeness of Ciroc Peach. Even one drop of the explosive freshness of Ciroc Coconut. And the truth will come to your lips. Ciroc Ultra Premium flavors. One sip is all it takes to taste true perfection. Available in Red Berry, Coconut, and Peach. Ciroc, nothing tastes better than the truth.
The Bud Light Party believes in change. That's why Bud Light has a new look. And we want to share it with everyone. From our national parks to our furthest shores, jackpot, to your living room. Look under your seats! Still the same refreshing Bud Light with a new look.
You know what, fellas? That's why I love the Sports Coma. I love what I do, because it gives us a voice to be able to really kind of, at the end of the day, release our frustrations and talk about the things that we looking at and saying, hey, I'm looking at this team and I know y'all see they got a hole in that line, maybe 2 of them. You gonna pretend like they ain't got no hole right there? Well, I'ma just keep yelling at your ass until you understand that you got a problem, because you're in denial. And I just love that, and I appreciate you guys spending time with me to do that. But we back with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. We coming off break, going into our final segment, and we're gonna give Blaxuede an opportunity to reply to that interesting question that we asked earlier today, which is dealing with the immaturity issues of the potential immaturity issues. Because, like I said, I'm hoping that this whole situation with Keenan, because obviously DC's right. He raised an interesting point about cutting a guy like Keenan Lewis a couple days before your game abruptly. That surprised the hell out of me. It surprised the hell out of a lot of people, because we know Keenan was hurt. We know Keenan was trying to get back. But what we didn't realize when they brought Cortland Finnegan in, we didn't expect Cortland Finnegan to be a replacement for Keenan Lewis of all things. In essence, we thought that Cortland Finnegan would merely be a person who buys Keenan Lewis time, not take his time away from him. So for him to depart the team under these situations, then tell Josina Anderson of ESPN that he thinks the culprit was obviously Dennis Allen because they didn't get along, that seems like an immaturity issue, that the man proved you wrong because you told him that he couldn't play in this league. So, Keenan even said that I think he took it the wrong way. I think he took it the wrong way as me being arrogant. Either way you take it, as a coach, you're supposed to know how to deal with if you're going to win in this league. And obviously he won the Super Bowl as a secondary coach with the Saints when they won it. Then that led to him going to Denver, being a defensive coordinator. He did okay there. Then he washed out in Oakland. And that's how we ended up getting him as a special assistant to another guy that washed out. So I'm saying this, Suede, is it? What is your take on that? Is there some immaturity going on here, unprofessionalism, the inability to be able to sync talent together for the ultimate reality, which is to win? That's the only reason why we assemble. We not assemble here to wash clothes, or we not assemble here to stand each other's face all day. We assembled to win, and we assembled here. Well, maybe Brandon Colvin's probably assembled here to wash clothes and cut grass, but the rest of us are here to win Super Bowls. So, give your take on that, Suede. What you think about that immaturity issue, Dennis Allen, Keenan Lewis, and its effect on the team?
It's really too hard to sum everything up with what's going on because none of us are in that locker room. So I really couldn't gauge whether it's Keenan all together or it's Dennis Allen all together. There's always three sides to the story. There's that one story, and then there's the truth. Pretty much, if Keenan Lewis was a disruption in the locker room, which can sometimes happen, is nothing more important than having the essence of having your locker room be not divided. Okay, it's the same thing that happened with Junior Gillette. He tried to divide the locker room. It's the same thing, believe it or not, that happened with Jimmy Graham. He was a distraction in the locker room. Same thing I'm guessing that happened with Keenan Lewis. He was a distraction in the locker room. Like I told you guys yesterday, he already had it on his chest. He was ready to go. They started getting rid of Jimmy Graham, and they started getting rid of Pierre Thomas and Darren Sproles. He was actually to be traded then. So I can see where he was a distraction in that locker room, possibly. But who knows what really happened? And who knows if it was immaturity or it was a business move to keep the team cohesive and everything going, and Keenan had to go.
Okay, I understand that. It's a good take too. Very interesting.
I'm wondering if
DC.
distraction in the locker room is like one of those cold words, like conspiracy theorists or something. It's like anytime we want to get rid of a player,
right?
We always say they're a distraction.
He's a distraction in the locker room, right? So
it's an interesting point, though.
But can we recognize that and get everybody out there to recognize that that's a technique that teams use, not just NFL teams, but NBA teams, but any administrator or person in the high office that's not the player would want to get rid of them, whether they believe they overpaid for them or not. They'll have to concoct a story or an ability. Can we actually admit that right now? That it's not a conspiracy theory, but that's a technique that teams use to get rid of players who they feel like that they can save money by or what have you. Can we admit that's a real technique?
Most definitely.
Okay. Let's switch. Well, I agree with you. Go ahead.
I mean, let's look at it with the players that I named. I mean, Junior Gillette. Can you not deny that Junior Gillette was like he seemed to be a head case?
Well, he was a distraction. That one guy was a distraction.
All right. Yeah. So with Keenan Lewis saying, I want to be traded after these people started leaving last year, could you possibly see him in the locker room like, man, I don't even want to be here?
No, because he said he wanted to be traded, and what happened after that? He wound up getting more money up front. He got a guaranteed deal. And he got his guaranteed deal, so I don't see why he would be a distraction after he got what he wanted.
No, did you see Jimmy Graham being a distraction in the locker room?
Why? After he got his $40 million.
After he was talking about, I want to be paid like a receiver and a tight end.
And they gave him his money. If he was a true distraction, why would you pay him?
It's the same. It's the same thing. It's the same recipe. They're the guys that they pay a couple years later. You better watch out, guys, when they pay you. I'm just gonna warn all y'all guys. That's how the front office operates. It's a nasty trend that's developing. Cam Jordan, you better watch out. Use one. Who was the last guy to get paid? Cam Jordan, Teron Armstead, and Jordan and Armstead. You better watch your butts. There seemed to be a nasty trend. But Junior Gillette he was a guy that really had 22 sacks in 2 years. He was turning it up. They knew Junior Gillette was thrown off. They've been having Junior Gillette on the team for over 3 years, so they knew he might have been a little thrown off. Hell, most of the players are a little crazy. We know that. A lot of guys use the crazy to their advantage in football to get things done. But, it's that high motor guy. That high motor guy that's always the guy that you might work with that's in the corner bouncing up against the walls and saying all crazy stuff. And you put that guy, and there's that same guy that's on the football team or basketball team, the same guy, he jumping all over, diving on the floor for loose balls and fumbles, throwing his body up against a big offensive lineman twice his size. just a reckless abandon for his own safety. We know they got guys out there that's a little throwing off, and damn sure most of them not Saints. If that was the case, then they wouldn't have a team in the world and the pros full of players to play. But let's switch gears. Let's talk about something else. I'm going to give y'all guys an opportunity to talk about Sean Payton's play calling tonight. What's your take, Suede, on Sean Payton's play calling in a short take?
But can we make this one comment, brother, if you don't mind?
Sure.
It actually did something to me, if I don't mind. It's very difficult as a head coach, man. And even in a college football locker room, very much in the NFL locker room, to have a room full of $1 million men with egos bigger than whatever you can imagine, to keep them all together and on the same page. That is very difficult. So I'm guessing, with one slight bad egg up in there can ruin everything and make everything just turn. I do agree that person would have to go. I don't see it as a conspiracy theory. I really do believe sometimes the people just get in there cutting up, and I think it would make sense if you're gonna cut up and then they give you big money, get trade up to another team, and in return you get a team that somebody you want from that other team. Just get them on, just trade them for that bigger price. Does it make sense what I'm saying right there?
Oh yeah, it does. It does.
If you're gonna pay Gillette $50 million, I'm gonna give you that $50 million. Now I'm gonna give you to the Washington Redskins. I want a first and a third and one of your receivers for that $50 million. You understand what I'm saying?
We get you. I understand.
Yeah, but why would the Redskins agree to that and they know that you want to unload this player?
Right, but that's something that you got to ask the Redskins because they failed hook, line, and sinker. They failed hook, line, and sinker for it. So did the Seattle Seahawks.
I think most of the times, guys, they're willing to take a risk. Look at Greg Hardy. They knew Greg Hardy was a head case when Carolina had him all those 2 years. They knew Greg Hardy was a head case. He just didn't exhibit that behavior. That just don't come out the blue. They investigate these players before they bring them on the team. They have investigative teams. They look in their background. They talk to their head coaches. They go and look up grandma and talk to her. They go to the school where he come from to see what kind of grades he have. They talk to counselors. I mean, they do in-depth research on these players before they pick them up. So they knew who they had in Junior Gillette. It's like you roll the dice. It's a gamble. But the thing about it is Mickey Loomis is paying. He's ushering out this money to these players, and then 2 years later or a year later, they're trying to get rid of these guys, and then it's killing your cap, so you can't improve your team. So you have to pile on draft picks and try to get a guy from the bottom of the draft to contribute to your team when you had a guy that was there that was doing the same job. So I mean, it's a backwards way of dealing with things. Of how handling it. I think it's totally, I don't care how they look at it or what they think it is. Well, it's a genius move. I heard one columnist say that Mickey Loomis, he called him a genius. And I'm saying, I'm like, what planet are you from, sir? Where you think that the kind of crap that this guy's doing is translating. You look at the dysfunction in terms of the cap situation. What business you have known that guy would have been fired a long time ago if he had piled up $30 million, $35 million in bad debt. That's what it is. That's what dead money is on an NFL team. It's bad debt you can't use.
36. The team behind us is Atlanta, and guess what that number is?
Probably 15. 21. So you lead 14 plus million.
We in the lead like you saying close, man. Smiling and pointing fingers. Man.
Yes.
We out there.
Yes. Well, I'll tell you what, fellas. Go ahead, Sway. We got 1 minute.
I just bring that point back up because it is how I feel about it. But Sean Payton's play call, it was kind of off today. It was certain run plays that didn't understand why he was doing it. And my man DC said, maybe they were trying out. I don't know who told them. They were trying out things preseason, And so I take that into consideration, but as a whole, I really didn't like what he was doing.
Okay. Quickly, DC. We got about 20 seconds.
I wasn't crazy about the play call either. Like, I know my man Swede was talking during the game. He pointed stuff out that I thought also. That's saying the same thing. You're running a single back, we get nowhere, and then they come in and put John Coon in. An extra runner, and we pass. It gets
That's crazy.
Sean Payton is a very creative guy with the offense, and he's outstanding, man. I can't take anything away from his offensive play calling on big picture skill, but just sometimes he outsmarts himself, man. Just trying to do too much. Yeah, and you just need to keep it simple, and you know, line up the uglies and see who can get it, man. Who want it more? Man.
Well, I agree with you guys. I think it's been a terrific show tonight, quite spirited show. I appreciate you guys delivering y'all take as powerful and as potent as usual. We're gonna and I'd like to thank all the fans out there for joining us tonight, listening to the broadcast. Continue to share it with family, friends. Post it on your social media groups, Twitter, Facebook, whatever. Join our social media family as well. We invite you to join us on our family. Like us, share our articles, and also if you feeling giving, give to us. Donate to us. You can go, like I said, you can go to the Sports Coma SoundCloud page, and you can look up the donation link, and you can donate from the heart. Once again, we wish you well, success, health, and wealth tonight from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. Have a blessed night.